And we are live. Welcome to the NBA Strategy Show. It is Thursday, March 13th. I am Josh Engleman, here to break down a 5-game NBA slate. We've got a little bit of a spread here for some late swap, a 7 o'clock start, a 7:30 start, 2 8s, and a late night hammer at 10 o'clock. And no matter what happens today, it has to be more enjoyable than the experience from yesterday. So do me a favor, everybody. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you know when everything goes live, and follow me on Twitter at Josh Engleman. Wow. We had one yesterday, that's for sure. So the Raptors quit in a way that I don't think any of us even saw coming. That one stung heavily. And that has not, I don't even care about the Boucher side of it, which hurt me, but that one doesn't even register. The more ridiculous one is Jamal Shed plays 12 minutes in a start. Too good. Got to get rid of him, you know? Colin Castleton played 40 minutes. Garrett Temple played 22 minutes. Orlando Robinson played 32 minutes. But Jamal Shed got 12 and Jakob Poeltl got 17. This is disgusting from Toronto. Look, I knew it was going to be bad for guys like Scotty Barnes or RJ Barrett. Like, sure. And even Jakob Poeltl to a degree. I get it. Dude, Jamal Shed's been like the backup point guard for basically all year. He's young. He's the guy you want to get minutes to. To sit him in all of this is gross. There's no other way to put it. You want to ice Scotty Barnes and RJ Barrett and Jakob Poeltl and the vets. I can get behind it to a degree. They just drafted Jamal Shed as a second-round pick. Is he not the guy you want to play 36 minutes? I don't understand. I don't understand that one at all. Obviously, Mason Plumlee gets the gate. Mavs starters come out 4 minutes before the game locks. What else am I missing? What else was next level stupid? Miles Bridges, highest scorer on the slate. Feels like we've been saying that a lot. Jared Rhoden played 43 minutes. He was the 4th highest scorer on the slate. Just out and out nonsense disaster for all things yesterday. He's good. That's why. I mean, Jamal Shed was like the 55th pick in the draft. We can't, if a rookie mid to late second round pick is too good for your tank, I don't even know how you ever have a basketball team. Look, I can get over the Chris Boucher one, but Jamal Shed makes 0 sense. 0. If you can find somebody that thought that they would have played Jamal Shed 12 minutes with no problem, no injury, no anything, just like, hey, we got to lock you down, brother. We're going to go even worse. Trey, it really did. There was a picture going around of Boucher sitting like 8 seats away from everybody else at the end of the bench. It looked fake. I agree. It looked like somebody just added extra seats. It's so dumb. So dumb. That was disgusting from Toronto. I don't mind rest or anything like that, but that's a bridge too far for me. That's the first time I've ever looked at it where I was just like, that's disgusting. And like, it's weird that Boucher not playing at all is like the least aggrieved I feel from Toronto. Nicholas, he was not hurt. He was not hurt. All right, let's get into it. Let's break it down. We got a lot to talk about. And we're leading it off with the Washington Wizards, 14.5-point dogs in Detroit, 235 total. We did just see this game 2 days ago. for anybody that makes it seem like this game seems familiar. Not a lot of ownership coming into Washington right now. They are basically, there's 5 teams not really getting any ownership, and then there's 5 teams that have 100 or more. So Washington is one of those teams that's not getting a lot, but this game does have the highest total for today. It also has the highest pace for today. Now, on the Wizards side, Bilal Coulibaly still out. Otherwise, injury news, nothing crazy on the Washington side. Also, nothing interesting on the Washington side. It seems like the optimal rate is pretty accurate for today. 18% ownership coming into Justin Champagnie. He got the start last time out. He's 4,900 power forward eligible. Came in north of 20% optimal. He's going to be 15 to 20% owned today. Ranks 12th coming out of the boom bust tool. Hoping for about 35 fantasy points out of him. He's in and around a fantasy point per minute dude to begin with. So I do think that Champagnie pretty clearly looks like the best option for the Washington Wizards. After that, no one else got to a 10% optimal rate. Alex Sarr is the only guy that was close at 9. He's 6,100 in center only. That price is getting a little problematic. He's only 5% owned. Jordan Poole's minutes have been a little lighter as of late. I think he's still someone you can click in a large field GPP. Probably not someone you want to prioritize in like a single lineup. Middleton still sitting at that $5,800 range, small forward only. Mostly an uninteresting dude, but GPP wise, totally fine. I think you could conceivably use Keyshawn George, Jordan Poole, Justin Champagnie, Alex Sarr, and Chris Middleton in any of the like larger field GPPs. But I think Justin Champagnie is the only one that you really want to get to with any sort of regularity. I'm curious if you guys see anything for the Wizards that I'm not looking at right now, but they don't look like that appealing of a team. It probably has something to do with the fact that they're not talented, and that is a bit of a problem in this situation. But I think there are just better spots today because, you know, the Pistons get to play the Wizards. That's a pretty big benefit. Brooklyn, Chicago is going to be a tire fire of epic proportions, but unfortunately for us, it is the most owned game. It's double any other game of ownership. So that one will be real fun to talk about. And then, oddly, the late night hammer of Kings Warriors is the least owned game by a mile. There's 7 times more ownership in Brooklyn, Chicago than there is in Sacramento, Washington, or Sacramento and Golden State. But I don't have anything else here for the Wizards. They just don't look that great. See if we have any Wizards bets popping up on OddsShopper and the Portfolio EV tool. And we do. Under 18.5 PRA on Chris Middleton is a 4 OddsShopper rating. I can't lie. I do like that quite a bit. We also have... Oh, no, these have already moved just as we're sitting here. It's now a 5 OddsShopper rating on DraftKings. This line has been out for 13 minutes. So I'd be happy to take that Chris Middleton line. And then 6 OddsShopper rating, 7.7% historical ROI. This one's on BetMGM, under 28.5 PRA for Jordan Poole. So 2 pretty standout bets on the Portfolio EV tool right now coming in for Washington. What about Holmes? Exactly. Now for Detroit, no injury news. So they're at full strength, same way Washington is, save for Coulibaly. So I guess Jaden Ivey playing the role of Bilal Coulibaly today. We do have a lot of ownership, though, coming into Detroit. One of the over 100% owned teams. 2 guys in the top 15. And we're starting with Jalen Duren. 6,900, center only, 35% owned, 33% optimal, 37% chance of 45 fantasy points. He ends up ranking 9th. More than okay with that one. The price has been climbing a little bit for Duren. The minutes are there. When he's out of foul trouble, he can play 30. We got him in for 28. He's a fantastic per minute guy, especially in a matchup like this against such a dreadful Wizards defense. I agree with every bit of Jalen Duren's ownership. He's going to be popular all day, and he should be. Similarly, well, maybe not similarly, but if you want to pay up, $10,300 Cade Cunningham certainly looks pretty good. He is 5x value, 1.55 fantasy points per minute. He's 22% owned, 20% optimal, 32% chance of 62 fantasy points. You know, there's no LeBron on this slate, but you do get Giannis. Dame exists. There's no quality pay-up options in Brooklyn or Chicago. They obviously don't exist in Washington. The Pelicans really only have Zion as a pay-up. Orlando has, your Banchero, Franz Wagner types. Sacramento's pay-ups aren't like pay-ups. Sabonis, we don't know the status of. Warriors as a pay-up is basically only Steph. So we're really talking about being able to pay up for either Cade or Giannis to a degree, and Luka if he's playing. But 10-3 Cade looks pretty cost-effective in this matchup. Deserves every bit of his ownership. If I'm well over the field of Cade, I am never going to be mad about it. Ranking 13th. I think Duren and Cade are both priorities for today. I think of the three guys that are getting around 10% ownership, which would be Tobias Harris, Malik Beasley, and Dennis Schroeder, I would lean more towards Harris and Schroeder. 4,700 for Schroeder. He's been playing about 22 minutes a night. 12% optimal, 10% owned. Guys like if we create more value throughout the day, guys like Schroeder will look a little bit worse. Those like low mid-tier salary price guys are rarely the guys that hold that sort of ownership when they're playing the same that they normally do. And then same for like Tobias Harris at 5,900. Completely reasonable 10 to 15% owned dude at 5,900. You wish he would have an MPE, but even at just power forward against the Wizards on a 5-gamer, top 20 play, ranks 20th on the dot. Beasley, on the other hand, it's on most days you're going to be not that happy because he's so scoring dependent, but when you face the Wizards, you expect to score a little bit more. So shooting guard, small forward, 5,400. He's going to be getting the threes up. You need him to fall. When these guys are at full strength, though, and they can run that 10-man rotation, it does kind of become a little bit limiting to the minutes of guys that aren't Duren, Harris, and Cunningham. And even Duren shouldn't really be included because his minutes are siloed. If he's not getting them, beef stew is, and then it doesn't matter. So I don't mind Beasley. I think 10% ownership is reasonable. To a degree, I think I would rather just roll the dice on Asar Thompson. Better per minute guy, slightly more expensive, not as good of an MPE, but still fine. Same optimal, same boom, but less ownership. I would lean to Asar Thompson over Malik Beasley. What do you guys like for the Pistons? See if we have any bets. And we got one. Negative historical ROI, though. 2 OddsShopper rating, under 19.5 PRA on Asar Thompson. Seems to me that we should probably just keep those Wizards bets and not add anything in addition. Can I? Hopefully that stops refreshing. But yeah, I don't see any bets on the Pistons side. Don't think that's going to be the angle we're trying to take today. But yeah, that's Washington and Detroit. Hell of a game. Next one's going to be really weird just because of the status of Luka. Gigantic swing depending on his status. You assume he's in, but you never know. Just give me 1 second, fixing something on the back end quickly, or hopefully fixing something on the back end. Nope, guess not. Asar might pull a Fox and explode tonight. I don't know where we're going with that comp. I don't know why Asar Thompson could pull a fox and explode. I can't even think of two different dudes, but sure. Let's go to game number 2. The Los Angeles Lakers, 6.5-point underdogs in Milwaukee, 225 total. I just want to put this out there right now. Milwaukee doesn't have anybody on the injury report. The line is 6.5. I've got it at 1.5 when Luka is in. So at the very least, I think the Q tag is real. I don't have a lean towards whether he's playing or not. What I can say is I don't think 6.5 is sticking around if he's in. I think that line will come down probably 2 points. I think the truth is probably somewhere in the middle. And that leads me to believe that this Q tag is a little bit more real than I thought. So let's talk about this one, because we have a close to lock button cash game play today, one way or the other, whether Luka is in or not. $7,500 point guard, shooting guard, Austin Reeves, projected for 1.2 fantasy points per minute. It's a relatively neutral paced matchup for the Lakers. 5.5x his salary. He's 50% owned. He's 40% optimal, 40% boom. Austin Reeves is one of the best plays of the day, and I don't think it matters whether Luka is in or not. Honestly, I'd rather have Luka be in, because if Austin Reeves is the star of the show, he's going to get a much more difficult defensive diet. If Luka is out there, I think Reeves is properly allocated as a number 2 for this spot on the slate. So I to a degree, I kind of like him more, or at least I feel more confident for him, because then he's not the center pin of all of this. But he looks great one way or the other. If you're playing a cash game, right, like if Locke were right now and you played a cash game, he is one of the first 2 or 3 names you're clicking on, a lock button cash play at 9:15 a.m. Subject to change. You know, you never know what things are going to look like, but I'd be shocked if he's not 35+% owned today. Luka, you know, surely I don't have to explain too much what Luka Doncic is. 12K, no LeBron. He and Giannis are pretty clearly the best per minute performers on this slate. He's currently projected for 20% ownership. He's 20% optimal. It all makes sense to me. You're hoping for 70 fantasy points. He ranks 14th. If you can get him and pay up, go for it. If you prefer Giannis instead of Luka, I get that too. After that, I think the next best option might actually be Jared Vanderbilt. The minutes have been up a little bit lately. I got him in for 27 here. Power forward only. He's about a 0.9 fantasy point per minute guy. 17% optimal, or 17% owned. A little over 20% optimal. 28% chance of 32 fantasy points. Ranks 15th. I would argue that Jared Vanderbilt is a hair under-owned in this spot. After that, they're like flyer guys. You know, 5% of Dorian Finney-Smith, 5% of Dalton Connect, 5% of Jordan Goodwin, 5% of Alex Len. Like, I think you can take those flyers in the largest field stuff. Probably not guys you're going to go to with any sort of regularity otherwise. That could change pretty dramatically if Luka Doncic ends up out. But with Luka in, I think it's 3 guys. I think it's Luka, I think it's Reeves, and I think it's Jared Vanderbilt. What do you guys like here for the Lakers? Because not a lot if Luka's in. You know, the problem is Dorian Finney-Smith, terrible per minute guy. Gabe Vincent, terrible per minute guy. You know, Connect, not a great per minute guy. He's 4,800 right now. You know, they're chopping these minutes between Alex Len and Trey Jemison, which isn't helpful. Jordan Goodwin just doesn't have enough playing time, but I think he's worth the flyer right now because of his price and position. If we create more value, I think that just makes Jordan Goodwin look a little bit worse. Luka and Reeves, only Reeves. Steven Leibowitz wants to get a little bit more Connect. Yeah, that one just scares me because you have to get the minutes right on Connect. He's like a worse Malik Beasley. Gabe Vincent is real tough for me. That I don't really see. He is so bad on a per minute basis. I'm not sure I can get to any of Gabe Vincent. That seems tricky. Has DFS returned value at all in the last month? No idea. Not something I look at. "41 minutes, only 26 fantasy points." I don't know. Oh, you must mean Connect. Gotcha. Yeah, I just Connect is a tough sell for me. 4,800 is too big of a price tag for that dude. Obviously, it depends if Luka's in or not. If Luka's out, all bets are off. Speaking of bets, Portfolio EV tool is here. What do we got for the Lake Show? What do we got for the Lake Show? Let's try this again. Or not. I'm interested in this line. It's going to move. I just don't know which direction. Or it's going to stay where it's at and Luka's going to be out. Just out of curiosity, if I take Luka's minutes and just put them on Shake Milton, just quickly. If I put all of Luka's minutes on Shake Milton, just as like a quick eyeball, the line for me moves to Lakers +7. Right now it's 6.5. It doesn't matter because we're going to have this news at 7. Like, we're going to know if Luka's in probably by that point. But it does tend to make me feel like he's more likely out than in right now, which is a little odd. No Lakers bets right now showing up in OddsShopper, so unfortunately that's not going to be as interesting for us. Let's check out the Milwaukee side of this one. Is Cam Reddish without LeBron and Luka a sneaky play? No. He might try to sneak onto the court and play, but it's probably more likely that he doesn't even step foot on the floor. Cam Reddish hasn't played since January 28th, and he's played 3 games since January 5th. I'm just going to assume we shouldn't ever click his name unless the G League gets this, or like we start playing like Eurobasket. I don't know if he goes to China, maybe. China has DFS. Let's talk Bucks. This one's simple. The only 2 guys that you're truly paying attention to are Dame and Giannis. Giannis is 11,700. He's power forward center eligible. So 1.65 fantasy point per minute guy. Ranking 17th right now, 19% optimal, 19% ownership. Looks spot on at 20%. I do think it's an interesting dynamic that both he and Cade Cunningham have essentially the same ownership. Not to mention the Lakers have, or Luka has similar ownership. So seems like the payups are tough to split, which means, you know, you can kind of go any direction you want if they're all going to be similarly owned. But I think Giannis is properly owned at 20%. I think Dame in that 10 to 15% range makes a ton of sense. Ranking 19th right now. So we got 2 in the top 20. Dame's 9K, point guard only, 1.2 fantasy points per minute. You know, good spot against the Lakers. I'm going to say something out loud. Somebody in chat's going to disagree. Doesn't matter. I understand that the Lakers defense has played better lately. It is not a good defense. It's not even close to a good defense. The amount of work that they have to do to maintain that, I don't think is sustainable. So I love this spot for Milwaukee against the Lakers. Other than the pace, which is slightly down for Milwaukee, every bit of this matchup is fantastic. The problem is most of Milwaukee sucks. Kyle Kuzma's 6% owned. He's 7% optimal. Last guy in if you want to go that way. Brook Lopez had a monster day last time out. He's 2% optimal, 2% owned. I can't get excited about the 49th ranked guy here for this entire slate. You know, you want to look at KPJ, wild card, $3,500 point per minute guy. Something happens to Dame. I don't see it, but like, at least he's not dreadful per minute, because Jericho Sims, terrible per minute. AJ Green, terrible per minute. Trent, Prince, they're all terrible per minute guys. So I want none of that. Even with 30 minutes of Taurean Prince at 4,200, he's still wildly uninteresting. So it's Giannis and Dame. It's Giannis and Dame. And then, you know, like 5-10% of Kyle Kuzma. But let's remember, Kyle Kuzma is real bad at actual basketball. No Milwaukee Bucks bets right now. Giannis is the only one that has any sort of edge, and it's 0.1%. Now, I have been talking about Portfolio EV so far. I think this could be pretty fun for you guys. You could sign up at Stokastic and get either a month of the Sims or a month of Portfolio EV, no cost whatsoever, which I think you guys should take advantage of. Hold on, I gotta let my dog out. Hi, Riggs. Here, buddy. Go ahead, dude. Dog's chilling with me today. So yeah, Portfolio EV or Sims for a month. And I want to show you guys how simple it is to sign up. And this is what happens when you click the link that I'm showing on the screen right now. It'll look exactly like this. You'll come to this page. Right at the top of the screen, it gives you the 4 steps of what you need to do. Basically, it's click the link, sign up at the site, email us, tell us what you want. But you can see all of our partners here. If you're in a legal sports betting state or a legal pick'em state, this will work for you. If you've not signed up at one of these sites, let's say you want to get into pick'em, because I see someone in chat saying, Katomi Recipes, if I'm saying that correctly, says, how does Portfolio EV work for pick'em? Perfect example. Let's say you haven't signed up at one of these pick'em sites. Let's say it's Sleeper. You can make a deposit at Sleeper by clicking this claim offer button. They will match your first deposit up to $100. You'll follow these instructions at the top. Say you'll ask for Portfolio EV. You will then get a month free of Portfolio EV. You will pay us nothing in this scenario, and you'll have a month of this Portfolio EV. Don't forget, maybe you haven't signed up at any of these pick'em sites. You can then sign up at Underdog, at Better, at DraftKings Pick 6, at Chalkboard, and that's another month and another month and another month, and you're still not paying us for this. But this is how you would do it. For pick'em, Katomi Recipes, it's the same scenario. So I can click right here on this More button and go to Pick'em Top Bets. And it's the same sort of principle here. All of the plays for the pick'em sites are going to be listed here, and their positive EV. So we've got some value on Dabble, some value on Better. Here's a couple Prize Picks plays as well. What you can do then is click this More button and go to the Pick'em Builder. This is going to be the way that you would want to do it the most. This will pull up, let's say you're playing on Prize Picks. Or maybe let's get one that's going to look positive. Does Better have it? No. Sleeper have it? No. Does Dabble have it? No. Anyway, let's just go with Prize Picks. If you want, you could just pick off plays from this list, or I could just click this Generate button. And when I click that Generate button, it will build me a Prize Picks card. You can see it right here. It's grabbed all these positive EV plays. This is a 6-pick Prize Picks card, 10% EV. All the picks are right here on this left-hand side. You can just click the Bet Now button. It'll take you straight over to Sleeper, or in this case, straight over to Prize Picks. Load up your card. And I'm just going to take it right now since we're here. I'll drop 20 down on this one to win 500. And immediately this 6-pick card on Prize Picks has been placed. That quickly you can get from the Portfolio EV tool to Prize Picks and get your card done. Katomi Recipes. I would love for you to sign up using those links. If you just want to check it out, and this is available to everybody, you can always get, if you've never signed up with us before, a 7-day free trial of the Portfolio EV tool. And I can drop that link in chat as well. It might have already showed up, but if I drop this into chat right now, there we go. Follow that link, sign up for the 7-day free trial, and you could just come in and check it out for a week. If you don't want to commit to a month. Either one of these will cost you anything, but you can sign up through a partner if you've never signed up there before and get a free month. But whether it's Pick'em, whether it's sports betting, it's all right here for you. And if you need any proof, here's the easiest way to look at the proof. Let's look at Greg's Twitter for a second while we're here. Where's the most recent one that has his recap in it? Is that today's? So Greg started this bankroll challenge on the first day of the regular season of the NBA. He's up to day 109. He started with a $100 bankroll, and he's just betting whatever shows up in the Portfolio EV tool. This is a list of everything he bet yesterday. He had 45 bets that he placed just for this challenge. I'm guessing he placed over 100 on his own. He started with $100. His new bankroll after 109 days is $1,255. He turned $100 into $1,200 in 109 days using this tool. And don't forget, I know a lot of you are going to say like, oh yeah, but what if you have to pay for the tool? 109 days. Let's just say that's 3 months. Let's say you had 1,090 days. You could sign up for 3 of those sports books through our affiliates and have 3 months of Portfolio EV for no cost. So your outlay to us would be $0. You could have followed this exact challenge from Greg with $100. You'd have $1,200 in your sports books, or maybe more. Like in theory, you could have placed more bets than just the ones Greg has recommended. This past Saturday, Greg got down 400 bets. And I know that probably sounds crazy to everybody, but we're not talking about trying to hit some 10-leg parlay for 10 grand on $1. We are taking incremental tiny edges and taking them over and over and over again and compounding our money each day. This is the way you guys want to do it. I highly recommend you follow this link and sign up. Let's go to game number 3. This is the game of the day from fantasy purposes. 300% ownership. That is double any other game. And that is the Brooklyn Nets taking on the Chicago Bulls. The Nets are 2.5-point underdogs in Chicago, 229 total. Now for the Nets, Noah Clowney is questionable, and everybody else is in. This does become a little interesting because they've had somebody out basically every day, but they have 11 guys that they want to play. I don't know if they're going to play 11 guys or if somebody's going to lose their rotation spot or if everybody's just going to play like 3 less minutes than you would expect. But as of right now, we are getting heavy ownership here because this is a massive pace up spot for Brooklyn, and they're playing a trash Chicago Bulls team. Call it 40% ownership right now on DraftKings to Cam Thomas, Nick Claxton, and D'Angelo Russell. Thomas is over 30 minutes now. He's 6,400, guard forward eligible. Looks amazing. Currently ranking 8th. Claxton's playing 30 minutes a night. 5,200 center only for a fantasy point per minute guy. 40% optimal, 40% boom. You only need 36 fantasy points. He's 40% owned. Completely agree. D'Angelo Russell, This is the only one that kind of scares me. I could see him playing 24 minutes tonight, and that's where some of the minutes start to come down. He's 5,100. He's over a fantasy point per minute. 6x value, 45% owned, 45% optimal. Now, all of these numbers can be extreme in the morning. They're not going to go anywhere, though. Maybe they're not all 40 when we get 6 hours from now. Maybe they're all 30. Either way, that's still incredible. We have 3 guys from Brooklyn right now in the top 10. I would expect to have 3 guys from Brooklyn in the top 15, no matter what happens the rest of today. I think Cam Thomas, Nick Claxton, and D'Angelo Russell look exceptional. And that says nothing for being able to get to Cam Johnson in at least 10% of lineups. That says nothing about maybe rolling the dice on Day'Ron Sharpe at 4,500 because it's a 5-game slate. You could probably get 5% of Zaire Williams and Keon Johnson if that's a direction you want to go, if you think those guys are going to maintain their minutes. But Cam Thomas, Nick Claxton, D'Angelo Russell, I don't know how you get away from these guys, at least in like decent chunks of your lineup. Like if you're playing a 20 max, I'll probably have, I don't know, 8 or 9 or 10 lineups of Thomas, Claxton, and Russell individually. It looks good. It looks really good. I would really like Noah Clowney to be out. I think we'd feel a little bit better about this one. But at least Cam Thomas, Nick Claxton, and D'Angelo Russell are like the real players for Brooklyn. But yeah, they look damn good at the top. Brooklyn currently sitting tied for 5th in lottery odds right now with Philly. And then Chicago on the opposite side, currently sitting 8th. They've won 3 straight. Can't imagine they're stoked about that. Utah, on the other hand, got their tank going quite well. There was a time, I'm gonna mess up the range or whatever, but it was like a week ago. Chicago was like 2-8 in their last 10 games, and they actually gained ground as the 10th seed, I believe, in the East playoffs. It's nuts. Oh, let's do this one. Just because we're here, we're going to sim the lottery one time to see who gets the number 1 pick. Personally, I would like this to be the San Antonio Spurs. If it's not the Spurs, I would really hope that it's the Rockets. 1, 2, 3. Cooper Flag goes to... Oh, the Charlotte Hornets. The one situation where he might really go back to Duke. I'm kidding. He's not going back to Duke, but don't let Cooper Flag go to Charlotte. No one needs this. Brooklyn, though, jumped up 4 spots. Got the number 2 pick. Philly keeps their pick. Ends up jumping up to number 3. Will be fun. Tough day for the Jazz and Wiz, though. They both fell 4 spots. Sorry, I can't help myself sometimes. I really love simulating the draft. I can't help it. All right, let's see if we have any bets here for the Brooklyn side. We do. The number 1 bet on OddsShopper right now is a Brooklyn Nets play. It is an 8 OddsShopper rating, under 1.5 threes made for Zaire Williams. I actually like that a lot. 1, I think he's got some minutes downside today. And then 2, it's a 7.5% historical ROI, and it grades out as the best play. I'd be grabbing that quickly if you guys have the ability to bet on DraftKings. Nothing else there, though. All right, so we talked about how much we like Brooklyn. We also like the Bulls. The Bulls, though, missing some guys. Lonzo, doubtful. Josh Giddey, doubtful. Obviously, Ayo Dosunmu is out. We are getting 50% ownership to Kevin Huerter, 4,300, shooting guard, small forward eligible. The number 1 play of the day right now, coming out of the boom bust tool, and I get it. They got a lot less bodies. He was playing close to 30 minutes off the bench. Now his role is a little bit more firmed up. Facing Brooklyn, Kevin Huerter. Big time cash game lock play today. Speaking of heavy cash game lock plays, Trey Jones, 5K, point guard only. Looking better with no Giddey. Ranking third, 50% owned, 50% optimal. Kevin Huerter and Trey Jones. Write those names down. High-level priorities for today. We don't stop there, though. Buzelis is 25% owned at 4,800. He ranks 10th. 29% optimal, 30% boom. Looks great. Kobe White. A lot less guys that can handle the ball out there. A lot of usage to go around. 7,300. Shooting guard, small forward eligible. Currently ranks 16th. 20% optimal, 20% owned. 4 plays in the top 16 from Chicago. And they all look really, really good. Rolling the dice on Vooch seems really difficult with his mild minutes limit at 7,500. THT might be stepping into a bigger role with no Giddey around. He's sort of like a homeless man's Josh Giddey. Definitely not the type of guy that could lurk around a high school because Talen Horton-Tucker looks like he's 90 years old. But 3,600 shooting guard, small forward might be a value dude for today, depending on if anything else breaks weird. But I don't see any situation where you're getting away from Trey Jones or Kevin Huerter. 2 of the top plays of the day. And Stephen Leibowitz, thank you very much for that. I was really proud of it. It did well. It did quite well. What do you guys want to prioritize from Chicago? How do you guys see it? What do you guys like in here? I don't see the path to not getting to a lot of Trey Jones and Huerter. Muhammad says White and Trey. Stevens with me. Donnie Boone says Trey Day. Rusty says Kobe. I'm letting the dog back in. I think he regrets leaving. Oh boy, buddy. Ooh, Jake Buzelis. I like it. I like the Buzelis call there too. Look, it's just all those guys look great. None of them are bad per minute guys. Like Kevin Huerter's a 0.9 dude. That's good enough for me. Ooh, Trey versus D'Lo. I mean, it's got to be Trey. You have way more confidence in Trey than D'Lo. But yeah, those top 4 dudes are great. Fantastic options. That's what happens in this kind of matchup. Like, the pace isn't great for Chicago, but the amount of dudes that are out is creating this. So, like, Brooklyn's popular because they face Chicago. Bad defense, fast pace. Chicago's great, not because of the matchup, but because they're missing so many bodies. One interesting thing here, and I know somebody else said it, and I've touched on it before. Nets defense is like sneaky, not bad. So they cratered. Why am I in 2013-14? That's weird. So if you look at their defense, like they're pretty regularly just like a -1.5 type defense, which is nuts to think about for their clientele. Like they're not a good team, but I think they're coached up really well. I'm anxious to see this team when they acquire a little bit more talent. I got a sneaky suspicion if Brooklyn can be decent in free agency this year and in the offseason, I could see them taking like a half leap, sort of like Detroit. Obviously, they don't have a Cade Cunningham to save them, but I think just getting like real bodies in the door, like say what you want about Tobias Harris, but I think getting guys like Tobias Harris, Tim Hardaway Jr., Malik Beasley for the Pistons, you get these floor raiser type dudes. And I think that's what Brooklyn's going to need. And I think they could be a little sneaky next year to like sneak their way into the, sorry, something's in my eye and it's driving me nuts. They could sneak their way into like the 9 or the 10 next year. I don't know why I just went on a rant about the Nets. That seems weird. Let's look and see if we have any Bulls bets. No, just a bunch of one OddsShopper ratings. You could take them, but, you know, not necessarily priorities. Cam Thomas makes them worse on defense. He sure does. Sure does. All right. Oh my gosh. Whatever is in my eye is like, I think it's attached to my eyeball. Damn. How did Bonnie Blue ever make it through it, man? I can't even get like a little eye booger out of my eye. What was my reaction to the Jazz fine yesterday? Surprised it didn't come sooner. No reaction. Jazz don't give a shit. You gladly pay $100,000 to continue to do what you're doing. That's a rounding error for them. They don't care at all. No, it's not an eyelash. If it were an eyelash, I'd have to take my contact out. I'd know it. It's not irritating me. It's just like giving me temporary glaucoma. There we go, Trey. Just placed my first bet using OddsShopper. Love it, dude. Love it. Remember, the goal is as many bets as you can get down. Like, don't be afraid to have your entire bankroll out in bets today. Get it down as much as you possibly can. Don't leave them hanging. Volume is the name of the game. Volume is the name of the game. Jorge, what's the rotation with 3 centers? I think Jalen Smith is just not in the rotation. All right, let's hit the schedule for the rest of the day. King Rock Kid, I don't get it. You got to be some sort of really sad college kid if you would even want to speak to her in like a spring break situation. There's a billion chicks out there. Don't take the one that recorded a video to set a Guinness World Record of dudes. All right, schedule. NHL strategy show coming up at 2 o'clock. Emac and Eric will be on the deeper dive at 5. Greg and Bellman will be on live before lock at 6. And it looks like we're not going to have playback tonight. I'm guessing because I'm not here. I'm going to TBD that one for right now. Greg doesn't know that yet. Wife left for her 40th birthday party with her friends earlier today. Technically, I'm off to take the puppy to puppy training. There's a 50-50 chance that puppy training today is about grooming, which is not relevant to me. So if it ends up being grooming, I'm actually going to be around. Maybe I'll hop on to playback tonight and hang out because I will be around then. If it's not grooming, then I'm going to the class. But I don't need to groom a boxer. I will never do that. So, you know, we'll see. Grooming the puppy or me? I need it more than I need it as a puppy class, Steven. That's for sure. All right. Orlando Magic. 1.5 point favorites in New Orleans. 217 total. Lowest total on the slate by about 8 points. Lowest pace game by 2.5 possessions. We are getting a bunch of ownership to Orlando. We're getting very little ownership to the New Orleans Pelicans. Jake, it's a boxer. He will have his own personality by default. It's not that we need him to like be like a police dog, but he needs to know how to like sit and stay and walk on a leash and like be able to be in humanity, learn how to interact with other dogs. It's mostly for that kind of stuff. But trust me, he'll have his own personality. The dude laying behind me never had a dog with more personality. A wild one. But they're boxers. If you find a boxer that doesn't have a personality, I'm gonna assume he's not actually a boxer. Okay, let's talk Orlando. This one's not fun, but kind of fun. No injuries. No injuries. Cole Anthony, point guard, shooting guard eligible, 4,900, projected for 40% ownership. He's 40% optimal. So when you get these days where Cole Anthony plays like 31 minutes, you're like, nice, what a great play. And then randomly out of nowhere, he'll play 24 in back-to-back days. And you're like, well, this is annoying. So I have him in for 28 minutes right now. That's 3 minutes less than the last two games that he's played. A couple minutes more than he played in those drop downs. We're splitting the difference. And when you split the difference, he looks incredible. So even if you give him the 24 minutes as the low side, Cole Anthony is still a 20% owned dude. The position's great. The price is fine. He is still a really good play, even if you're pessimistic about his minutes. If you're neutral about his minutes, he's one of the highest owned guys on the slate. If you're optimistic about his minutes, you can make a case he's the number one dude. Tommy Hearns, a boxer with no personality. It's a hell of a pull. Hell of a pull. So I like Cole Anthony quite a bit here because you can knock his minutes down and still make him look like a 5.3x value dude. Let's just say this. So 1.04 fantasy points per minute gets him to 5.9x salary at 28 minutes. Actually, let me make sure that's 28 minutes. Duke. Yeah, it is. So let's just give him 24. Let's be ultra pessimistic. That's 24.96 fantasy points, 4.9x or 4,900 salary, 5.1x value. That's still pretty damn good on a 5-gamer. So I love Cole Anthony. Right now we have Franz ahead of Paolo. Franz 35% owned. Paolo 25% owned. We're talking $8,400 Franz. We're talking $9K Paolo. Franz ranking 6th, Paolo ranking 11th. Either way, we're looking at in and around 25 to 35% ownership on Franz and Paolo. Love it. Love it. They both look awesome here. Personally, I tend to lean Franz because I think small forward's harder to fill than power forward. But I'm happy to get either one of these guys. They're both playing like 36 minutes a night. I don't feel like I ever get the one right when I take it. But I think you got to be looking pretty heavily at Franz and Paolo. Maybe the best two-man combo of anybody on the slate today. And then Wendell Carter Jr. is 4,800. Kind of like Cole Anthony. When you get the 30 minutes out of Wendell Carter Jr., 4,800 is a really nice price. When you get the 24, it's not. Also, why don't you guys play Goga Batadze? Everything was good when you did that. Now he doesn't play. 12 minutes, 9 minutes. What are we doing? Somebody needs to pry Goga to Orlando this offseason, man. That guy is wildly underrated. I'm not going to anything else for Orlando other than Franz, Paolo, Carter, and Anthony. I will rank those guys: Anthony, Franz, Paolo, Carter. What do you guys want to do with Orlando? We do have a 2 OddsShopper rating on Cole Anthony, under 1.5 threes, 7.5% historical ROI on DraftKings. We have recommended 4,500 3-point props on DraftKings this season. They have returned 7.5% ROI across the board. Kind of like grabbing that Cole Anthony play. Look, if you don't like him in DFS, run on over to DraftKings and bet his under in threes. You'll probably feel a little bit better about it, because if Cole Anthony goes under 1.5 threes, I have a hard time imagining that he's going to be great. Now on the Pels side, there's absolutely no ownership coming in here. They're 32% in the aggregate, but here are the ownership numbers. It's because it's not just one guy. 3, 3, 7, 5, 5, 6, 2, 1. Zion got to 10% optimal. If I'm taking anybody here, it's Zion. Small forward, power forward, 9,400. He's been looking really good as of late. Yves Missy's questionable for this one. But this is still A horrific pace down spot for the Pels. They lose 4 possessions below their average in this spot. Orlando is the second slowest team in the league. 96.5 possessions per game. Actually, what do I have them at? 95.5 at this point. Okay. So, terrible pace. Clearly, you can go to Zion. And the real thing is for the Pels, you can go to Trey Murphy. You can go to CJ. You can go to Yves Missi. You can go to Zion. If Bruce Brown starts again, that's fine. Alvarado's fine. All these guys are okay in that 5 to 10% range. Zion's the only one I would want 10 or 10 to 15 on. But I don't want much of the Pelicans at all. It does. The ownership does sound like a phone number. What was it? 281-330-8004. I think that was the ownership number. Steven's liking CJ over Zion. Okay. Zion looking like he's trimmed down a bit. Maybe they're slipping some Ozempic in his gummy bears. Which they should do. That shit's dope. For anybody that is a bit overweight, highly recommend looking into GLP-1s. Big fan. Not that I'm on them, but big fan. They work well. Guards are cooking the magic without Suggs. Yeah, that makes sense. Muhammad, I don't know what you're talking about, man. That was just a random phone number. Would it have been better if I went with 867-5309? Jake, make sure you're lifting weights if you can. Got to maintain that muscle mass. All right, let's close it out. Final game. Not a lot of ownership here. Least owned team on the slate would be the Sacramento Kings. Jake LaRavia, questionable. Domantas Sabonis, questionable. I have to imagine if Sabonis is back, he's not playing the full 35 or 36 like he normally does. So I put him in for around 32. He's been missing for a bit now. It's a lower body injury. So I'm guessing they'd at least put like a little bit of bumpers on him. Highest owned guy on Sacramento is LaRavia at 5%. We don't have anybody north of 3% optimal. Sacramento is basically a no-go until we know the status of Sabonis and LaRavia. Like, if they're both out, then you're going to feel better about Levine, DeRozan, Monk. Joval is 7,900 right now, so that's tricky. So we might have something for Sacramento, depending on how this news breaks. I can say that with Sabonis and LaRavia in, I have the line correct. So I am leaning towards these dudes being in, but they don't look good. These guys are overpriced now. We got to remember, all of their prices have gone up since Sabonis has been out. How many games has Sabonis missed? What's our jumping off point? Because I want to give the reference of why we're not interested in these guys if Sabonis is back. So he has been out since March 1st. We can do something with this information. Sabonis has been out since March 1st. I'm going to pull up the salaries for these guys today. So if we look at someone like Zach LaVine, on March 1st, Zach LaVine was 7,800. Today, he's 8,500. He's $700 more expensive, and Sabonis might be back. On March 1st, DeMar DeRozan was 7,100. Today, he is 8,300. He's $1,200 more expensive, and Sabonis might be back. Malik Monk is today 7,600. Now, he was 7,500 on the first, but he has also been missing time. So that makes a bunch of sense. Obviously, Joe Val's salary is up because of this. What about Keegan Murray? I'm assuming he is up at least a couple $100. He's 5,300 today. On March 1st, he was 5,100. So all of these guys have less advantageous prices than they did when Sabonis was in 2 weeks ago. If he's in today, it makes Sacramento really difficult to get to. I don't love that from a late swap perspective, but I don't really know what else I could possibly say there. We do have a 2 OddsShopper rating over 5.5 assists on Malik Monk. Negative 9% historical ROI. Don't grab that one. Now we get to the Warriors. Final game, final team. Remember, these guys aren't owned either. It's around 10% ownership to Draymond and Jimmy Butler. 5% or less to most of these guys. Draymond and Moody look a little bit better on FanDuel. Draymond's probably the guy at 6,400, but, you know, he's just a guy. Steph at 9,700 looks too expensive to me. 5%er. Butler, fine at 10%. I think Moody and Heald and Payton are all fine at 5%. I don't see a standout play here for Golden State. I really don't. You want to go to Steph or Butler or Draymond? I think that's totally fine. Mark, no, I didn't. Remember we had the Cole Anthony under 1.5 threes? Yeah, Brandon, that's a great thing. I forgot to even say it. Jonathan Kuminga is back and probable. Clearly have no idea how many minutes he's going to play. Surely he's limited. He's been out for like 2 months at this point, or however long it's been, and he's 5,800. So you're never playing Kuminga. The problem for Kuminga being back is he clearly is taking minutes from the rest of these guys. So that makes Golden State look a little bit worse. So our late night hammer at 10 o'clock is not all that hammery. Because I'm feeling nice and because I love it so much, I'm going to build one lineup and one lineup only in the sim tool, and then we're going to get out of here. So let's switch it to large contest. We'll switch it to 35% up top. We'll get rid of the opponent so you guys can see this a little bit easier. And now we're going to go ahead and build this lineup. I'm going Wendell Carter Jr. I'm going Justin Champagnie. I'm going Cole Anthony, shooting guard. I guess I'm going D'Angelo Russell, point guard. Small forward is going to be Bruce Brown for me. That leaves me 8,700 a person, guard forward utility. Let's see if we can get Austin Reeves, Franz Wagner, and then we could pull the full McGilla pay up for Cade. Let's see what it looks like. First draft, first run. How'd we do? I'm going 49-6. What do we got for the Czar? 32-8. Okay. I'm not surprised by that. I'm not surprised by that. I'm going to pull those final 3 guys because I know how much salary I have left now. And I think what I want to do is upgrade D'Angelo Russell, I think. Because Russell's a great guy, or is a great option there, but I'm going to sneak Dennis Schroeder in at point now. I'm going to go Cade. That leaves me 7K. Reeves. How about Kobe White? And wow, I got a lot of salary left over. All right, we're going to be able to find another upgrade somewhere. Interesting. What if I take out Wendell Carter Jr., upgrade to Clax, and now I have 5,900 for a utility. Let's test Tobias Harris. Let's see if that's any better. What do we get? And then we're out of here. Negative 5.8. All right. Well, I can't leave on that note. So I'm rebuilding from scratch. No way I'm going out like that. That's not how the czar does this. All right. Maybe we're just giving up a little bit too much value when we get down there into the 5Ks. Russell in. Cole Anthony in. I'm going to need one of those Bulls at some point, but I'm going to grab Buzelis first. Sticking with Wendell Carter Jr. I guess I get Herter at that point. 8,700 left for everybody else. I think really I'm going to be able to get to these pay-ups a little bit easier, and I didn't realize it at first. So we can go Cade, Paolo, or sorry, Cade Franz, Jalen Duren. 51-1. Let's get Franz. Let's get Cade. Let's get... Let's get Kobe White. And now we have 5,200 for a guard, which ends up being D'Angelo Russell. Yeah, otherwise I'm giving up too many fantasy points. Please be better. Please be better. Please be better. I don't like how I'm starting this one off. This is the last one way or the other. Gotta be the best one. Gotta be the best one. There it is. The czar is back. The czar is back. 67.3. Cade, Kobe White, Franz, Champagny, Wendell Carter Jr., D'Angelo Russell, Matas Buzelis, and Jared Vanderbilt. Now we got it. Guys, thank you for being here. Please hit that like button. Don't forget, you can sign up and get a month free of Stokastic Sims or the Portfolio EV tool by following the link in the description. That's going to do it for me, guys. Good luck, everybody. See you later.